What's good, y'all, man? So look, we talking about Deion Primetime Sanders. Obviously, good to see him back. Obviously at media days, been going through some health issues, but good to see Coach Prime back. He made some very interesting comments today. We'll break down the comments he said about salary cap tomorrow. But let's talk about this comment right here because I think it's very, very intriguing. So Coach Prime said this obviously on the two quarterbacks, Kaidon Salter and obviously Juju Lewis. He says, we brought both of them because I don't know which one is going to start. Very interesting to say the least. So basically, no one has really separated themselves as we go into fall camp for the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, a lot of people are slating Kaidon Salter as the starter for them. But if Coach Prime is saying this at media day and already kind of giving out, what's kind of going on and why he brought in both, that says a lot. Because in that moment, he'd be like, nope, Kaidon Salter's going to be our starter. Juju it's going to be his job next year. But he's actually saying here, Juju has a potential chance. They don't know who's going to start, who's going to separate themselves. Obviously, the talented passer, formerly of Carrollton, former USC commit. Very interesting to say the least. Now, Salter obviously lit it on fire, obviously with Liberty, which was a group of 5 school. He has the experience of playing in college. You would think he would obviously get the nod. You know what I'm saying? But Juju Lewis was a hot top-end prospect as a freshman. We've seen freshman quarterbacks start to have some success. Dylan Raiola obviously is one of those guys. We've seen Sam Leavitt, obviously another guy that has some pretty good success as a true freshman, but it takes time to adjust to the college game. Not saying that he won't have success. He's more than capable. But remember, they're not going to have the same weapons they had a year ago. A lot of guys got drafted. They're going to bring some guys back, obviously, but it ain't going to be the same talented receiving core they had in years past. So which one of these guys y'all think is going to separate themselves in fall camp, obviously, to get the starting role for Colorado? Because remember, it is an important pick because you don't want your guy to struggle week 1. Obviously, they're going to play Georgia Tech. We'll have the analysis, break down that game and everything, and, who we're going to take in that contest. But it's going to be very important for Coach Prime to pick the right guy because you have to set the tone. You're at home in Boulder, prime time on ESPN. Obviously, ESPN values both Georgia Tech and Colorado to put them in that primetime spot on a Friday night, which really is college or high school football prime period. Now, I don't have any inside intel, but something tells me somehow, some way, if it ain't week 1, Juju Lewis is going to have this job at some point in the season. Now, I can't say when, because I don't know. I'm not plugged into the Colorado program, but I think at some point this will be his job. Now, we'll obviously follow it, see what happens, but we've seen this before. A group of 5, yada, yada, comes in, supposed to be a placeholder, and we see a guy come in as a freshman quarterback or, guy that's been there for a little minute, gets his chance, completely takes over. We see it all the time, and this is a big year for Coach Prime because he's entering the era of not having, obviously, his son there, obviously a generational talent, obviously in Travis Hunter. It is a new era in Colorado. Who's going to be his guy? That is the biggest question, and how much or will at all Colorado struggle? So it's going to be a very important choice of who he chooses and who differentiates himself at fall camp. But tell me, guys, who are y'all rolling with? Is it Juju Lewis or is it Kaidon Salter? Let me know down in the comments.